Hi, everyone. Welcome to Grow Big TV. Whoop, whoop.
Hello, everybody.
So we have Jacob DeVecchio coming on today. We're going to talk about mushrooms. Mushrooms! And, well, who is David DeVecchio? Well, he's an outdoor enthusiast with a big passion for science. He has associated a degree in diversified studies. He was hired as a lab tech in 2018, and then COVID happened. When COVID, everybody got lost or they found themselves. And then he got really into the outdoors, just like a lot of us that got into gardening and did the things. And then he was a registered Oklahoma fungi, fungi as an LLC. He started teaching Fungi educated classes in 2022. He hosted the Oklahoma Mushroom Festival in 2023. I mean, pretty cool stuff, right? And there's some other stuff. I just want to read his LinkedIn. He's in the basement. We had a little communication breakdown a little bit because, well, he's not Eastern Standard Time. And so we're an hour off, but hey, he's here. It works. We're all good. So let me look at his LinkedIn file so you guys can know a little bit more about Jacob. So he's the owner of the Fungi company in Oklahoma City. He is the number one resource for mushroom education and cultivation supplies in Oklahoma. We have hosted 50 mushroom education events over the course of 2.5 years. So over 1,300 students, and have collaborated with the City of Oklahoma, City of Edmond, and Oklahoma Science Museum, the REI Coop in Oklahoma, the Scissortail Park, and multiple farmers markets throughout the state. He also has a YouTube channel, and we're going to show all his where you guys can find him. He has tutorials on mushroom growth, harvesting, cleaning, and cooking, and he's truly devoted to promoting the community interaction and mushroom education.
Nice.
So, well, let's welcome Jacob on. How you doing, Jacob?
Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be on here. Sorry for the delays, but here I am. You can see the Oklahoma City Devon Tower right behind me. So I'm very excited to be representing Oklahoma and talk more about what I do here.
Nice.
Well, I tell you what, Matt Powers, that's how I met Jacob today. Well, yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Well, I didn't mean to meet. He had a couple presentations, and I was blown away. And the enthusiasm, the energy, and you can see the love for mushrooms. It's shown through the screen. And I'm like, I got to have that guy on our channel.
Yes, I love that. Thank you. That means that even though it was a virtual conference, my passion, kind of was portrayed through the screen.
Oh, without a doubt. So tell us how you got into mushrooms.
Yeah, so actually, 2020 was when I got into the cultivation of mushrooms. And so growing up, I didn't have any experience mushroom foraging. My parents didn't cook mushrooms. They didn't forage mushrooms or forage edible plants. We spent a lot of time outdoors playing sports and that great stuff. But for the most part, we were spending times inside cooking regular food. And what I mean by regular food is basically not mushrooms. And so now, fast forward to 2020. I was laid off of my job that I was working, and I had a really big interest in mushrooms, and there was a lack of access in Oklahoma to fresh mushrooms like lion's mane and oyster mushrooms. The only mushrooms that we could really find and locally were morel mushrooms when they were in season.
Oh,
and for anyone listening, morel mushrooms are one of the most popular, one of the most expensive mushrooms that you can forage. But unfortunately, we can't grow them just yet. Places like China and Japan and South Korea, they are cultivating them outdoors, but there's no commercial farms that I'm aware of here in the U.S. just yet.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm still blown away from the conference, by the way, with the mushroom stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like stuff are just going through my mind. Like, whoa, can't wait to rewatch it. Like, only 3% of the mushrooms have been named. Is that right?
Identified. Yeah, that's pretty fair. There's
Wow.
been a very, very small percentage of mushrooms have been DNA sequenced and named, and the taxonomy is updating almost every month, it seems, because the more mushroom samples that we collect and sequence, the more mushrooms that we can compare and say, oh, this is part of the same species, or this is something completely separate. And so
Wow.
it's really fascinating. And for me as a mushroom forager, in 2020, when we were all stuck inside and quarantine and lockdown, I got really interested in foraging, and I wanted to get outside and I wanted to find the same mushrooms that I was reading about online and that I was watching in YouTube videos. So by getting outside and starting to forage, I had developed a really big passion for it, and then I also started to teach other people how to forage and the benefits of foraging, because I personally think that we all benefit from spending time outdoors in nature, whether our hands are in the soil or our feet are walking along the trail.
Isn't that a wow moment or what?
No. So exactly, like, okay, so you've been doing this since 2020, you said?
Correct.
Okay, so what exactly? It's the Oklahoma fungi company, correct? So
Yes.
what exactly do you do? You harvest, or do you just explain
Yeah.
how do you do this?
Yeah. So when I first got into it, I was curious about growing mushrooms, and
Okay.
there wasn't a lot of mushroom farmers in Oklahoma that were teaching people how to grow. There's a very large mushroom farm in Oklahoma that grows 28 million pounds of button mushrooms. They've been around for decades, and they've never once done free education to teach people how to grow mushrooms. And so I found that as an opportunity to start teaching people how to grow mushrooms. Everyone's familiar with them at the grocery store, but other than the button mushrooms, people weren't really too sure about the benefits. They didn't know that mushrooms actually had benefits other than the way they tasted. And so that was one thing I'm always trying to get people interested in is, yes, there's mushrooms that taste delicious, but there's also some that are really nutritious and medicinal for our body as well.
Now, do you grow just the medicinal, or do you grow both?
Yeah, so that's a good question because I actually don't grow any mushrooms right now.
Okay.
I'm in the transition of moving the lab. And so typically the mushrooms that we provide are seasonally foraged. So right now, if I go out and find some lion's mane or some oyster mushrooms, I'll take a tissue sample like I talked about in my talk at Our Future. And then I'll take the rest of it to a local co op where they can sell it by quarter pound to individuals who want to try lion's mane.
Oh,
In the springtime, I'll do the same thing with morel mushrooms and chanterelles and all the other great wild forage varieties. But right now, I'm not cultivating indoors. I did cultivate last year in 2023, and that was lion's mane, oyster mushrooms. Those are some of the most popular ones that I can sell at the farmer's market, and they're really easy to grow. So
nice.
right now, my number one seller is what I call Grow Shrooms Easy. It's an all-in-one grow kit. So all you need is this one product and your inoculant. So if you want a liquid culture, you want spores, you add that to cart, you add this grow kit, and that's all you need to grow mushrooms. And so
Wow.
that's our number one product. Our number two is Mush Love Gummies. So these are healthy gummies that are infused with medicinal mushrooms, non-psychedelic, but mushrooms like lion's mane, cordyceps, and turkey tail have very medicinal and beneficial effects for our bodies. And so for that reason, we extract those mushrooms and we infuse those into gummies for people to be able to take instead of taking a tincture. Some people don't like alcohol if they're trying to get over some gastrointestinal distress. Oftentimes they'll opt for a gummy over an alcohol-based tincture.
Yeah.
Jacob, that would be on Facebook, right? You're about the that way you have Sal in there.
Yeah,
Um,
so if you want to visit my website, oklahomafungi.com.
oh,
Yeah, so if you click that link right there on the left-hand side of the screen, yeah, and so as you open that page, it should pop right up to the Oklahoma Fungi webpage. Hopefully it works.
yep, it's right there.
Sweet. Yeah, then if you just scroll down a little bit, you can see all of our products lined up across the bottom. You can hit shop now if you want to look at all of them. But for the most part, that's the main sellers. Our gummies and our grow kits are really, really popular. after that talk with Matt Powers yesterday, I had a bunch of orders. I'm actually in the van. I was doing some deliveries today and going to the post office. So it was a really great event, and definitely excited. I'm not sure if you listened and you sent me an email for some mushroom spores, but if you didn't, I'll definitely hook you up.
Yes, I did.
Perfect. Yeah, good job. You got a package coming your way then.
Awesome. So you have the all-in-one grow kit. Then you have the groovy mushroom grains.
Is this showing on your end? Because it's not on mine. That's why I'm asking.
Oh, okay. Let me.
Because I don't think people can see it.
Okay, let me.
Thank you, Jane Doe, for sharing the website. You guys can go to the website and take a look as well. My husband really likes to grow different types of mushrooms, so I think it's really fascinating that you sell the grow kits. I also like the idea of gummies because a lot of people that take the tinctures and have like the teas and whatever else that is out there, they said it tastes disgusting. So if you disguise it with a gummy, well, people might be a little more open.
I will say our gummies, the flavors that we have are mixed berry and strawberry, and the one other one that we did mixed berry, strawberry, and we're going to be coming out with another flavor soon. But right now they taste very tropical. They taste delicious, and they have 300 milligrams of mushroom extract per gummy. So these are really good mushrooms. If you're interested in the benefits of mushrooms, these gummies are a great way to start and see if these functional mushrooms can help your body, or if maybe you need a different type of functional mushroom.
Yeah.
Well, can you tell us a little bit the functional, like the turkey tail? What's that function, and the cordyceps and lion's mane? What's their function for each?
Absolutely. So the first one that I came out with, the most popular one, is our lion's mane mushroom gummies. And lion's mane is known to help with cognitive function, which it helps with our memory, it helps with our focus. It's also known to help with neurogenesis, which is basically the protection of our myelin sheaths so our neurons can interact and they can continue to hold that electrical impulse as they basically communicate, and we can remember things better. So lion's mane is being studied to help with Alzheimer's and a bunch of other memory associated ailments. And so for the most part, lion's mane is recommended for memory and for focus. Yep, that's the one on the far right. We're currently sold out. The second one that we came out with was something that a lot of coffee replacement people are interested in. So we have a lot of consumers who drink a lot of coffee or a lot of caffeine. And there's actually a mushroom that helps with energy, and that is called the cordyceps mushroom. So that one that's in orange packaging, this is a mushroom that we developed for people who are looking to kickstart their day or to take right before a workout instead of their pre-workout that makes them jittery, or if they have energy drinks that make them shake. This is something that's naturally derived. It's created and everything's manufactured here in Oklahoma to help people have a more natural, energizing effect.
I got some hats and t-shirts there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, last but not least, we have the turkey tail mushroom. This mushroom is really known to help support immune function. So if right now with it being the winter season, there's a lot of people getting the flu or RSV, a lot of different ailments. So these mush love gummies are really meant to help just kind of promote general well-being and function. The mushroom's also been studied for its anti-cancer effects, for its ability to help regulate blood sugar, and its ability to help reduce inflammation. So all three of these different mushroom gummies have great benefits. But if you're looking for, one of them, we don't have one yet that has all of them combined. Right now, we think that by offering them individually, you get basically the best foundation to understanding if this mushroom is the right mushroom for you. If we were to put 10 mushrooms in one gummy, you might not know if it's the lion's mane that's helping. It could be a mushroom. So we really like to offer you, something that's made locally, that's grown locally, and that you can try it. And, ultimately, if you do like lion's mane gummies, then when you try another lion's mane product, hopefully it should affect you the same way. And that's our goal.
So you could take all three at the same time? Or is one, you could take one for breakfast, lunch, dinner, or when do you consume it?
You could take all three at the same time. I mean, I personally take two of right now, but with it being the winter season, I take two mush love gummies in the morning. That's what I personally do. The cordyceps and the lion's mane are great. The lion's mane is really great for focus, whereas the cordyceps is great for energy. But right now, with me doing so many different projects, I have all the internal motivation I need, so I'm not taking my cordyceps right now.
I love that you could grow all this. Just like,
Mhm.
here's this. Just go outside.
Yeah, so we originally offered the groovy grains and the mushy manure products to people who wanted to grow in larger setups. And what I came across is there's a lot more beginners than there are intermediate and expert growers. So if you're looking to grow and you're a brand new beginner, you've never grown before, we call it Grow Shrooms Easy because it's seriously that easy. And that kit, along with your spores or inoculant, is all that you need to grow mushrooms.
Nice.
Yeah, and so you can see a picture. There's some beautiful pink oyster mushrooms. Those are gourmet. They're delicious. And as you scroll down, you can see some of those research varieties that were grown.
Okay, so you just when you get a bag like that, and that's basically about it. Like, what do you have to do?
Yeah, so there's 4 instructions. If you scroll up a little bit, I'm not sure if you can click on that photo of the backside. Yeah,
There we go.
and there's our instructions right there. So step 1 is to buy genetics from us. Step 2 is to use a little bit of isopropyl to wipe your injection port and then to inoculate that bag. Once it's 20% colonized, you'll cut a small hole. You'll mix the bag up and tape it. And step 4 is waiting till the mushrooms are ready to harvest. And there's seriously, I mean, 3 of those steps are where you're actually doing something. The first one is just buying the genetics from the website. So you personally are going to already have my genetics. So you're 1 step closer to growing shrooms easy.
This almost sounds like a pretty good contest to have, Courtney.
Yeah.
Who could grow the biggest mushroom?
That's right.
Well, I like that.
I do too. Makes it easy for people.
Yeah,
Makes
I
it
mean,
a lot easier.
I really do a lot of education classes in person. Last year, I did an insane amount. I was doing at least 3 a month. So one was teaching people how to cultivate, one was teaching people how to forage, and the other was typically teaching about cultivation, but at a higher level. So kind of had a beginner, an intermediate, and a foraging every month. And so really getting out there and interacting with people, I got to learn a lot about what people were looking for in products
Mhm.
and how difficult it was to sort through all the misinformation online and how people were just looking for something reliable from someone who was reliable that would respond back to them, that had YouTube videos to show them how to do it. And so I just kind of took it upon myself to make sure that everything I heard as complaints, I tried to rework back into the Oklahoma fungi process and make it smoother for all of our customers.
No, I'm foraging. I'm looking at mushrooms. I'm lost,
Yeah.
just like a lot of people are. The only person I know that knows their mushrooms is Tammy at Rebel Canners, because that's what she likes doing. For me, I forage and I'm looking for animals. It's gonna get me. No, I'm just joking. But I'm totally lost in the mushroom world. Where do we find like it's you can read a book about it and say, I think this is that. Is there a phone app? Who do I go to? What do I
iNaturalist. So iNaturalist.org is the best way to get reputable information about mushrooms. Now, there's a lot of iPhone apps or Android apps that you can download that say they can help you identify mushrooms, and they might be able to help you. But in my experience, I've had them identify a poisonous mushroom as a psychedelic mushroom. And for those of you who are listening, if you're interested in psychedelics and you eat a deadly one, you will have the worst trip of your life, and it will be the last edible mushroom you ever eat. We have this saying that all mushrooms are edible, some only once. And this is why we're so particular about the mushrooms that we eat. We always want to be 110% sure we know the species before we consume the mushroom.
Yeah, I am not a forager, and by all means. However, I do grow a lot of the stuff that I would like to forage. Why? Because I trust it and I knew I grew it myself. So having those mushroom spores to grow yourself is way better because you can grow it at home and you know what it is versus going out there and getting the wrong mushroom, your last
Yeah.
one. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And even in my most popular video, it has 31,000 views. It is about me foraging the Oklahoma wild genetics and actually finding this native cubensis in Oklahoma. And in
Nice.
the video, I show you which mushroom that is the psilocybe, and then I show you all these other mushrooms that are surrounding it. And so to most beginners, you might think that all the mushrooms are the same since they're growing in the same area. But there's, in fact, a lot of these mushrooms cohabitate. They live in the same areas, and you always want to make sure that you're individually identifying the mushrooms before you consume them. You want to make sure that you identify them before you cook them, before you dry them, before you put them in a bag and throw them in your car. Because as these organisms get tossed and tumbled around, they start to lose their distinct characteristics. And those characteristics are what we use to help identify them and narrow down the species.
Yeah,
That was going to be one of my questions. Like, what do you, if you see a mushroom, do you put it in a bag if you were in a forest? Do you put it in
Yeah.
a paper bag, plastic bag?
Paper bag is preferred. If you have a mesh bag, that's also really great because it allows those mushroom spores to spread throughout the forest. So as you're walking through the forest, these spores are falling out of the bag onto the forest floor, spreading out throughout the wind and hopefully re-inoculating and germinating somewhere else in the forest. When you
nice.
put them inside a paper bag, the paper helps to absorb the humidity and it's a great way to store them, but you just don't get the same effect of the spores spreading throughout the forest. Now, keeping them in a plastic bag is something you want to be careful about because what can happen is when those plastic bags get full or they get sealed and tied, they really build up that humidity, and that mold and yeast and natural bacteria that's on these mushrooms in the wild will start to propagate and get really noticeable. So these mushrooms oftentimes have a more acidic taste, and that's because of the yeast and bacteria on the mushrooms.
Okay.
So when you take care of when you forage mushrooms, we like to put them in a paper bag or in a nice mesh bag so these mushrooms don't get humid, they have air, they can breathe, and they can continue to spread spores.
You know what I learned today, though, when you, if you are in a little psychedelic trip, it's telling you that it's recharging your body in a different way. And I was like, did I hear that right?
Yeah, it's like waking up your brain in areas that you probably haven't used in a long time. That's what they say.
Yeah, and that's exactly why these compounds are being studied to help with smoking cessation, with alcoholism, because these are addictions that our brains are used to working. We wake up, we whether we spark a cigarette or we go brush our teeth or whatever we do in the morning, our brain is wired to continue to do that. And
Right.
so mushrooms, in particular the psychedelic mushrooms, are really helpful to help breaking those addictions down into helping reconnect new pathways. And one great analogy that I've heard is that when you were to take a psychedelic mushroom, it's like a fresh powder of snow coming down on a ski slope that's been ran down 1,000 times. So when you get that fresh powder, you get to create your own new path in a fresh way. And that's oftentimes how people will compare coming down from one of these experiences and how they want to proceed forward. And so I think it's really interesting that things like alcohol that have such an impact on our society can be aided with things like mushrooms that grow so prevalent and so easily. And it's a
Yeah.
blessing for us to be able to have mushrooms to be able to help combat this alcoholism that we're seeing in
Right.
America.
Not only that, I was told that it can help with things like PTSD and depression and all those
Yeah,
other issues
absolutely.
that people have out there. So
Anorexia, body dysmorphia. It really helps to rewire the brain and reset that positive mindset. And it's really, really important that when you are to take these mushrooms, that there's two things we have. We have set and setting. So your mindset, what you're thinking about, you want to be really positive. If you're having a really bad, sad day, that's not the day to take mushrooms and think that it's going to get you out of that sad loop. What you need to do is understand that there are some sad days. Not every day is going to be perfect. Not every day I have is perfect. I mean, maybe if you guys do, hey, many blessings to you. But not everyone has perfect days. And for those of us that don't, we have to recognize that it's not a perfect day and we have to plan accordingly how we can get ourselves out of this funk. It can be really hard to do that sometimes. But one thing we don't want to do is to be in a negative thought process and to take one of these mushrooms that's going to cause this experience to be increased and heightened and also make us more sensitive. And so that's just one thing I wanted to put out there for anyone who's interested in the benefits of mushrooms. There are many, but it's also important to know your mindset and to know who you're with, where you're at, and what you're going to be doing.
You know, everybody said, well, if you don't protect the two things of life, if you don't have, is the ocean and the soil.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the two things that we don't research, which kind of confuses me, which leads me to the mushrooms. That leads to only 3% of, naming things. And it's just, I think the cure for so many a lot more diseases and rare diseases today, because rare diseases are all popping up all over the place, is because of the health of the soil. Since it's mostly depleted. Just think of all the salt we put down when it snows. Think of it, say 70% of the people use fertilizers on the ground. That's insane what's going on with the soil.
Yeah, I mean, a great book that I recommend everyone reading is called Running Out. It's a book about the water table here in the Great Plains. So in Oklahoma, Kansas, we have the Oologah Aquifer. So it's a really large aquifer underneath our region of the United States, and it's filled with fresh water from millions and millions of years ago. And slowly over time, private organizations have been buying up all the known well sites, all the land, and have been basically using this water, whether it's for purified water bottling plants or it's for large-scale agriculture. One thing that I'm finding really interesting is that the water table is decreasing in some places by 100 feet in one generation.
Yeah, so that's so much.
In one generation of farmers, that water table's dropped 100 feet. And imagine if you're not a farmer that had that 100 feet cushion. Some farmers don't even have more than 20. And so I find it really fascinating that there are some places that are experiencing this water crisis. They're also farming in ways that are impractical and not building soil health. And so I really applaud a lot of these regenerative ag farmers who are coming out and they're telling their story about doing rotational grazing, about increasing soil composting, soil diversity. I really applaud everyone who's out there doing that. I personally live here in the city, so I'm trying to get all these city folks to start thinking about going outdoors. And a lot of these larger ag farmers, they don't want to come to the city. They just want to keep doing what they're doing. And I like to highlight farmers. So like in my YouTube channel, I have a lot of different mushroom farm tours where I go around and I show people what these farmers are doing. And I talk about the benefits of what they're doing and how they're helping the local environment. So it's really great to be able to help highlight a lot of our people here in Oklahoma, as well as be able to showcase what I'm doing.
Now, this is the part that gets me. You said that some mushrooms only grow in certain areas. Well, if we go and we damage those areas, and there's so many mushrooms out there that just haven't been discovered yet. Like, we could be messing with a cure for cancer. We could be messing with things that we have no idea about. Like, we need to come up with something to where we could possibly preserve some of these areas where these things can grow so we can study them more. Because, I mean, we're destroying what could be,
we're trying. Yeah. How will we know what we were supposed to be looking at when it's gone, right?
Exactly.
And so one great company or a nonprofit organization called the Fungi Foundation. Fungi Foundation. This is a nonprofit organization that started to promote mushroom education, but also to encourage and advocate for mushrooms to be included in the literature and state legislation. So right now in California, there's a California Fundus Survey, I think is what it's called. This is a organization that actually helps designate land as protected for the research of fungi. And so there are slowly some of these more progressive states that are starting to regulate and offer these options to protect their native, what we call flora, fauna, and funga. And so the three F's, these are really important in protecting our natural ecosystems, to understand how we can take these organisms and study them and also help protect where they come from, where they grow, but also help us where we live and where we grow.
This is really fascinating because really there is so much that people don't know. And
Yeah,
it
look,
seems I've done like a
90%.
lot of research like on reishi and turkey tail and stuff like that. My dad had cancer, so I was like really doing a lot of research on those particular mushrooms because even some mushrooms are known to shrink tumors. So I did a lot of research on that kind of stuff, but there's so many things that people just don't know. They're afraid to, for one, because they think that all mushrooms they're poisonous, and two, they think, that it's psychedelic or it's going to do something to them, but there are really good mushrooms out there that can really help you. And shiitake is another one that is like really, really good for you. And
Absolutely. And I think as he scrolled down there, you saw that it said 90% is left to discover.
yeah, that's
90%
crazy.
of the fungi on our planet have yet to be discovered. That's mind boggling when you think that mushrooms outnumber plants like 6 to 1 or something, or maybe even more. That ratio is maybe even larger now. But it's just truly incredible how much we know about plants and how little we know in comparison to mycology, to the study of mushrooms. And
Yeah.
educators like Matt Powers and myself were really trying to push people to look at the soil, to look for these organisms growing and the trees that are living in the soil, because all of these systems are interconnected. And when you look at fungi, you're looking at everything else through the lens of fungi. And so it's really important that we try and look at the entire ecosystem.
Right.
Well, it seems like everybody just goes so far, then works on the next project.
Yeah.
Instead, it just keeps on going, going, and going, and going, and going. And I still can't believe that's what we do. you know,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
it just shake my head a little bit. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah. I'm right
It's the
there with
next
you.
generation of kids here. Teach, make it difficult for them to learn.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I actually teach with the local Girl Scouts.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
I've taught young women as young as 7 years old all the way to 12 how to cultivate mushrooms. So I'm actually using that Grow Shrooms Easy kit along with pink oyster mushrooms, the photo that you saw, and I'm showing them in a class setting how to put these two things together. And then they get to take that kit home and show mom and dad what they got. And then they get to grow the mushrooms at home. Mom and dad get to cook them for them, and then they all have a super memorable, exciting experience with that's positive about mushrooms. It's not
Yeah.
about psychedelic mushrooms. It's not
Right.
about deadly mushrooms. This is about a cool pink mushroom that tastes delicious. And I really try and emphasize that, I'm a family friendly educator, and that is my focus. My focus is families and how I can most make mushrooms most accessible to them.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. My son's in Boy Scouts, so I
Yeah.
I think that's so cool that you do that. That's so cool.
So we had a couple questions in the chat, and you answered one of them was anything to quit smoking, and you answered that one. Next
Yes.
question was how do you feel about Changa supplements?
Chaga. It's chaga.
Yeah.
Chaga.
Chaga.
Okay.
Yeah, so chaga is a really interesting mushroom because, I mean, technically it's not a mushroom; it's a sclerotia. So
Yeah.
it grows as on the side of a tree as this really large growth, and so it doesn't have a typical cap and stem like most mushrooms do. This is a mushroom that infects, or this is a fungus that infects a tree, and then causes this weird dysmorphia in the tree. And when you break this what we call this blur off, you can actually see that this is a mushroom that is yellow inside. So when you would you mind pulling up a photo if you could?
And this chaga, it's only grown in certain areas in the United States, right? Like
Correct.
like in
Yeah.
North Carolina and those areas, right? I think.
Yeah, so it grows. Most I've heard rumors that it grows in New Mexico. You can
Oh,
find
okay.
it in Colorado. Basically, anywhere laterally and north of Colorado, you can find it. And so this is a mushroom that it grows on hardwood trees. I can't remember the type of. I think it's birch. If I can't remember 100%.
I think you're right. I think it's only birch.
Yeah, and so I'm not 100% sure, but I know that it grows on birch and a couple other hardwood trees in Colorado. And it's a great mushroom that when you find, you always find a lot of it. This is something that, like, when you find, you have to harvest it with a really large, like, axe and pick or a big knife, because it feels like it's part of the tree. It feels like a really large growth. And this is something that you want to make sure that when you collect it, that you're only taking the sclerotia, the growth. You don't want to be taking part of the tree itself. And that's why that when you look at that photo, you can see there's a really dark growth. There's that yellow inside, and then you can see the brown coloring where there's a piece of wood.
Now, when you cut this off, do you always like leave a little bit behind?
So with this organism in particular, it's already infected the entire tree.
Oh, okay.
So whether you leave a little bit behind or not, it will continue to grow. There's not a lot of organisms that are known to eat this. It's not a mushroom that we consume as an edible mushroom. It's something that we consider a functional or medicinal mushroom, because we take it and it helps us with our daily activities, our daily routine. But it's not a mushroom that you would take and saute or that you would take and eat. So this is something that you would dehydrate. Like the question was about supplements, taking chaga supplements. The only thing I would caution is to make sure that they're using, fruiting bodies of chaga that are collected in the United States. I personally like to make sure that everything is, whether it's locally sourced or it's grown in the U.S., foraged in the U.S. I think that's important. And also to make sure that if you're taking a supplement, to make sure that I'm sorry, I just saw that question pop up. We'll get to that, Shani. But the chaga is a great supplement, but you just want to make sure that when you're taking it, that it actually has enough of that in there. So, depending on what supplement you're taking, if it only has 10 milligrams, there's not going to be enough of that supplement to really give you the beneficial effects of chaga. So you want to take something that's much higher dose, and that's for that reason. That's why we do extract. So we take the mushrooms, we extract them to reduce them to their most beneficial compounds, and then we input that into the gummies or into our other products. So it's not just taking the mushroom and blending it and putting it into the product. It's actually extracting the most beneficial compounds and putting them in there. So chaga is a great supplement. I do recommend it, but just make sure that the supplement you're taking has enough of it for you to feel it.
Shani said, what percentage of the gummies are actually the mushrooms?
So each gummy has 300 milligrams, and the gummy weighs 4 grams total. So it's 4,000, 300 over 4,000. And whatever that math comes out to, that's what percentage of the mushrooms are of the gummy.
And Bear's Crochet Critter says, do you sell spores too?
Yes, absolutely. We sell all different types of spores. Some of my most popular are Golden Teacher. The second one is definitely the Oklahoma Wild. That's our native cubensis, and that's the one that you won. That you sent me your address, so I'll be sending out to you.
Becoming a Green Stalker says, if you were selling for mushrooms, how do you know they aren't ground? The ground wasn't contaminated or weren't sprayed of anything.
That's a really great question. And so for our supplements in particular, we have COAs on the extract. So if typically, like, I used to work in a soil analytic, like in a lab studying soil and water, petrochemicals and heavy metals and seed viability. So one thing that we notice, like when the beginning product is contaminated and then you extract it, it only concentrates that contamination. And so what we always do is we always screen our mushrooms and test before we extract them, and then we have a COA of our extract to show that it's clean. So that COA of our extract is what we use to show people that what we put into the gummies is clean and healthy for you. And then we have our ingredients on the back, so that way you know what else is in it.
So Jane Doe or Mod's been showing all your links like you wouldn't believe. Thank you, Jane. You're awesome.
Thank you so much. I truly appreciate that. I truly do. Thank you. Much
I
love.
keep on going down looking for a question. I'm like, this is this site. This is this site. This is that site. This is this. So thank you so much, Jane. How often do you forage?
I actually forage, like, even though right now it's winter, like we were just at below freezing for like 5 days in a row or something like that. I still get out there. I have friends all over the state that text me and that say, "Hey, I found a mushroom." Like 2 weeks ago, I found some lion's mane. I've also seen some oyster mushrooms. And if you go on my YouTube channel, I actually have videos of like foraging in the springtime in Oklahoma, foraging in the winter in Oklahoma. And I actually teach people what is out there in every different season. So I get out foraging at least once to 3 times a month.
Nice.
And that's if I'm not planning a class. Those are like personal trips where I'm getting out there by myself. I'm spending some what I call trail time. I'm out there looking for mushrooms, relaxing, spending as much time as I need to recoup and relax out in the woods.
Now, how do you know you are allergic to mushrooms? You just get
That
it effect? Is it something like you get rashes?
So yeah, this is an interesting question, and it's something that's still being researched in a lot of universities because there what it used to be is people thought that they were allergic to the chitin. So the material that mushrooms are made of is the same thing that an insect's exoskeleton is made of. So chitin is a really interesting compound. It makes nice fleshy material, but it can also make really hard material. That's how mushrooms have all these different flavors and textures and all these incredible things because of chitin. And so when people were eating chitin and eating mushrooms, they thought that that was what was upsetting their stomach. But in reality, it's actually with these wild forage mushrooms, there's a lot of bacteria, yeast, and what's now being discovered is there's proteins being discovered that in these mushrooms that grow in the soil. And so some of these mushrooms that are wild forage have proteins that mushrooms that are grown indoors do not. And so it's oftentimes that people are allergic to these wild forage mushrooms, but not to the indoor cultivated. So I personally have a friend who has the ability to go out and forage all he wants in his land, but he never eats what he finds. He only forage and then trade me what I grow or used to grow in the lab. So it was this trade of giving him what I could grow and he giving me what he could forage because there was some proteins or bacteria or yeast or yet to be explained answer on why he couldn't eat the wild forage mushrooms.
You know what, Jacob? Thank you so much for coming on. This is great. We got a lot more stuff to go, but
Yeah.
this is so awesome. I'm pumped up. I got like chills in my body. I'm like, let's go.
Yes, that's the attitude. That's let's grow. Let's grow.
Bears crochet critters and I can't even talk. Bears crochet critters. Thank you for coming on in. It's good to see you. Question for Jacob: is that program in California the fungal diversity study?
Yes, and they're actually hiring right now. They posted today that they're hiring, looking for employees, looking for someone to come and help to forage mushrooms, to sequence them. So if you're really interested in that, follow them on Instagram or check out the website. I don't have all these names of everything memorized correctly, so I really do appreciate when you guys find it in the chat and put it up there. Thank you all so much.
Helen Forrest says, "Can you substrate after mushrooms are done grown for your garden as a fertilizer?"
Absolutely. This is one of the biggest products that you'll find at a lot of local garden centers. They have this bag product called mushroom compost. So, for any of you who've ever heard of mushroom compost or you've seen it before, oftentimes these really, really large scale mushroom grows, like the 28 million pound farm in Oklahoma, they're producing substrate by the ton. And they need a way to get rid of this substrate and incorporate it. So, one thing that they've done is starting to market it and sell it in bags, basically right next to the bag soil, because there's so many benefits that the mycelium has, from water retention to nutrient exchange to also being able to regrow. If you take a mushroom that was growing indoors and then you plant it outdoors, especially the Oklahoma wild, more likely than not, you will see these fruits start to regrow outdoors. So not only is it helping your plants, but you may also get more mushrooms by planting out that spent substrate in your garden.
Nice.
Everybody's loving having you on, by the way.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here.
Are you planning to talk anymore at Mr. Powers, Master Matt Powers conference?
I know that's the last. So I was on the live panel, and I had a recorded speaker presentation. That's the only. Those are the only two things that I was invited to be a part of. But I mean, it was incredible. The being a part of that live panel and talking about how to get more people growing mushrooms. The panel was called Grow Mushrooms Now. And I think that everyone who listened in got an idea of how easy it is to grow mushrooms and how there's so many people around the United States that are educating, and how really the only thing you have to do is decide, okay, which mushroom do I want to grow?
How many different types of mushrooms can you find in Oklahoma?
That's a good question, and it's taken me a long time to collect a lot of different data from university research, from iNaturalist research grade observations, and from my own personal experience. So right now, Oklahoma doesn't have any official mushroom guide. So there's a mushrooms of Kansas, mushrooms of New Mexico, mushrooms of Texas, mushrooms of Arkansas, but there's yet to be a mushroom guide for our state. So I'm actually writing Oklahoma's first ever mushroom guide, and it will be coming out by the end of Q1 this year. So it's going to have 60 of our most important, our edible, our poisonous, our psychoactive, and our non-edible mushrooms. So if you're interested in that, you live in Oklahoma, check it out. It'll be our first guide that we have to help identify. And even on our poison control website, there is no list of our poisonous mushrooms. So it's really important to me that we put out this list of poisonous mushrooms, of psychoactive mushrooms, to let our citizens know what we have available, so that way they can make sure to avoid it if they want to. So right now, that guide has 382 species. And from that 382, I have to compile and basically narrow down to 60 of my top most important and relevant mushrooms that people will come across. So there's a lot of mushrooms in Oklahoma, 382 known, but I estimate there's more than 1,000 different species. They just haven't been genetically identified through sequencing yet.
Can you eat the mushrooms raw?
I do not recommend eating any wild foraged mushroom raw, mainly because of that bacteria and yeast that I mentioned earlier. So when you eat mushrooms raw, not only is it hard for you to digest that chitin, but if you're eating wild foraged mushrooms, there are other organisms on those mushrooms that might upset your stomach. So if you can avoid eating those mushrooms raw, I always recommend, cooking your mushrooms. It'll help you digest them. It'll also help them taste better.
Just make sure when you guys have any questions, make sure they're all in caps so I could see them a lot easier.
Yeah, I see one from Shani. So, what type of mushroom does the Growshrooms Easy Kit grow? Well, it's mainly designed for the research varieties, the manure-loving mushrooms. So these are the psychoactive strains, but you can also grow gourmet mushrooms with the bag. So as you saw when he pulled it up earlier, there's a beautiful 2-pound cluster of pink oyster mushrooms just growing off the side of that bag. So not only can you use this mushroom, this grow kit to grow research strains, but you can also use it to grow gourmet strains. Now, you do want to keep in mind that strains like lion's mane and reishi, these are hardwood-loving mushrooms. So these need to be growing on hardwood. So you don't want to use the Growshrooms Easy Kit for lion's mane. I'll have another kit coming out soon that's actually a hardwood blend that you inoculate and that you can grow lion's mane in. But for right now, the Growshrooms Easy is designed for manure-loving mushrooms, compost-based mushrooms like oyster mushrooms, and research strains.
So I was lurking a little bit on your Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm a lurk. I'm a little bit of a lurker. And is that your wife, or is that a girlfriend?
I'm not sure which. It should be my wife. I didn't realize I had photos of her on my Oklahoma Fungi, but yes, most likely that is my wife.
How long have you been married?
I've been married for 1.5 years.
Woohoo!
Yeah, it's been awesome. It's been a great time. I'm 26 years old. Running a mushroom company, married to a registered nurse, and things are going decently smooth.
That was my next question: is how much does she help you with your business? But as she's very busy herself.
Yeah, she's more of a consultant, if you will, on ideas. Hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? She held down the Oklahoma Fungi booth at our first ever Oklahoma Mushroom Festival that happened last year.
Mm-hmm.
It was an incredible event. We had 65 vendors, 1,767 total attendees. And my wife was holding down the booth, helping people with t-shirts and tote bags and mush love gummies. I mean, it was truly incredible to see all the amazing people that came through the event and that my wife was able to be a part of it. You know, typically she's not in my videos. She's not on my mushroom channels, my Instagram, because she's not really that into mushrooms. She loves me. She loves what I do, but she sees my passion and she lets me focus on that.
You know, it's so important when you have the support from your spouse or family when you're going through something. And that's the reason why I wanted to involve that in. It just makes life so much easier. And when you go doing things like this, you spend a lot of time what you're doing because you have
Right.
a passion on it. So when you have that
Absolutely.
passion, you're like, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. But when somebody understands what you're doing, it's like it's great. It's stress free.
Yeah, I would say, you know, our long backpacking trips have turned to even longer backpacking trips now that I'm walking so much slower. So there are times where she tells me, hey, you know, let's pick up the pace or quit looking at all those mushrooms. And that's, you know, that's very fair because I will spend a lot of time looking at mushrooms. And there's a time for mushrooms and there's a time to hang out. And so a lot of times, you know, you can see all these different videos. My wife is right there in the thumbnail along with my family. So it was a truly incredible event, you know, with my family. My family is really involved with mushrooms. They also were at the Oklahoma Mushroom Festival. And so I really try and make sure that I set family time and mushroom time.
Nice.
So this is the Sally, Oklahoma Fungi.
Yeah.
And there's the festival that we're just talking about. And this is some of the Oklahoma Mushroom Company farm tour.
Yep. This is a good friend of mine who runs the biggest gourmet mushroom grow in Oklahoma. So I take you on a walkthrough of his tour, show you how he grows mushrooms, where they're harvesting, and then ultimately, when you go buy his fresh mushrooms at the farmer's market, you know exactly where they came from.
Do you mind if I click on that?
Sure. Yeah, why not? That's one of my latest videos. Yeah. Oklahoma Mushroom Company.
Is that echoing, by the way?
No.
Hey everyone, it's Jacob DeVecchio here at Oklahoma Fungi. I'm here with Joel Myers, the owner of OK Mush Co., Oklahoma Mushroom Company, and we're going to be doing a tour of his facility. Thank you so much for letting me be here. Let's check it out.
Absolutely. So here is where it all starts. This is our bagger. So we do 10-pound bags of what's called Master's Mix. We've got hardwood fuel pellets.
This is a really large-scale grow that's producing about 400 pounds of mushrooms a week.
Water fills up in here, and it puts it all together down in that nice little spout and drops it into our bag for us.
Love it. You have a foot pedal down here to do all that action.
Yep. Sweet. So after the bags are made, hydrated, we fold them. We bring them in here to the pasteurization room. And so these are 50-gallon barrels that we've rigged up with a heating element. So it gets nice and hot up there. We rock them at about 200 degrees or so for about 12 to 14 hours is typically what we do. And that kind of just cleans the substrate, kills off any of the would-be contaminants in there for us. So after they're done cooking,
you got 3 in here cooking right now, but you've got a couple more units that are waiting to cook as well, right?
That's right. We've got, I think, 7 or 8 units total, and each one of these holds about 200 pounds of substrate, so about 20 of those 10-pound bags each.
So we've got, is it 600 pounds?
Yep, 600 pounds right there.
Awesome. That's a lot of substrate. That's 600 pounds of mushrooms.
The laboratory inoculation room. So these 3 have already been cooked. These will be inoculated today.
So they're cooling, sitting in the clean room, ready to be knocked up with some grain.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yeah, so we will open these up in front of the flow hood and pour our grain spawn into them.
Nice. You've got a little.
Yeah, we got our autoclave. That's what we do. Grain spawn in and petri dishes, agar,
liquid culture
jars, anything that needs totally sterilized, we use in there.
Nice bag sealer from Myers Mushrooms.
Yeah,
Love that.
I do like this thing. It's much better than those cheaper.
Absolutely. Yeah, the 5 mils.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely a good step up. So after we get them inoculated, we will put them on the racks here. You put about 10 of those 10-pound bags per shelf. So each barrel takes up about two shelves. And once they're all shaken up, and that grain's evenly distributed. We wheel them out here, and they will hang out until they're ready to fruit. So you can see here, these are those 10-pound bags. You can see them starting to colonize there. These ones are getting close.
Wow.
So they're
What are are the abbreviations for the species?
yes.
Or
Yeah,
for
so
the
HE, Harissa marinaceus, same thing. That's lion's mane. We've got Pleurotus pulmonarius, the Italian oyster or Phoenix oyster. And then I just use BK for Black King because it didn't have a species name until recently.
Some of the oysters get kind of confusing.
Yeah.
There's some controversy on what they should be called.
I just found out, this one was commonly sold as a hybrid between a king trumpet and a traditional oyster mushroom.
Okay.
It's actually two different Ostriatus strains that they bred together to create.
Wow.
So that was
Interspecies. So it's like an interspecies hybrid type thing.
That's what I was told it was for a long time, and a lot of people still think that. But I guess they found out. I found out from Maine Cabinstone.
Mhm.
They did the homework and found out who actually bred the thing.
Yeah.
I talked to him, and it's two different Pleurotus ostriatus species that they bred together. And I can't remember what they were calling it, but it's the term for marbled. So when you cut them open, it's actually like marbled on the inside.
That is really like a truffle, like Wagyu beef.
Yeah,
That is so cool.
It is. It's true to type. It is marbled on the inside. So that was fun little information bit for me. We got some golden oysters, Pleurotus citrino pileatus, chestnuts,
Awesome.
Poliota, Ipsizygus tessellatus.
You can see all of that CO2 building up in there in those bags.
A little bit of condensation. That's not great, but not terrible. And then one of the oyster strains.
Awesome.
So these will sit in here anywhere from 10 days to 4 to 5 weeks, depending on what strain it is and what species it is.
We've also got some bags of dried oyster mushrooms over here. Looks like on the top, is this the Italian oyster?
Those ones are, yes. Yeah, Italian and blues. We've got some black pearls in there. We've got a little bit of lion's mane. And then we've got some freeze-dried black pearls. We're playing around with some freeze-dried too.
These are pinks, it looks like.
Yeah.
Super cool. Well, to the fruiting room we go.
So this is the harvest room where we will bring the picked mushrooms and get them all trimmed up, boxed up, and ready to go in the cooler or
weighed out, boxed,
or to shipping. So nice
awesome.
Station. And then here is the fruiting room.
Here we go.
Whoa.
Humidity. Beautiful. You mind telling us what each one is?
Yeah. So we just recently harvested these. They're on their second flush now, but these are blue oysters here.
Beautiful.
Whoa.
It's just now starting to come back.
Those look wicked, don't they? Those are cool.
See some more down here.
This is good first flush set.
Oh, nice. Yeah, look at that. Nice pink cluster.
So we
Look at all those.
typically fruit once throughout the summer, and then in the winter time around now we slow down, so I usually start fruiting twice.
Okay.
I get a second flush
Nice
out.
second flush out of them.
But traditionally, this
Oh,
room
wow.
is so small, we're trying to max it out, so I usually flip them one and done. These are elm oysters, white elm oysters.
Doink, doink.
Yeah, like that. Mushrooms and love.
Very cool. These are the ones that we saw dried, right?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, elm oysters. We saw some blues, a few of those as well.
Beautiful. As we get a little bit further to the right, it looks like lion's mane.
Yeah, we got some
Wow.
lion's mane coming in good there. We do a lot of lion's mane, probably more lion's mane than anything else, honestly.
Well, look at that.
Yeah, look at those.
That's really cool. It looks like it's from Mars or like Jupiter or some weird planet.
Is that across all your
It
products?
doesn't look real.
Dried mushrooms,
Crazy.
everything.
Yep. Fresh lion's mane, dry lion's mane, the lion's mane tinctures. That's the one everybody's crazy about right now. Super cool.
Look at all
more
that.
lion's
Mane
mane.
over here on the left. You can see these nice, bright pink oysters starting to pin on the sides of the bag. You can see some of these starting to refruit on their second flush.
I grew those in my basement once. They're really cool.
These pink
Nice.
oysters are so cool and so eye-catching, much like these yellows here in the back.
Whoa.
Look how yellow that is.
Yeah, it's really
Beautiful.
bright.
These are one of my favorites to grow just because they're so darn pretty.
Yeah, they sure are. Nice dense cluster too.
Yeah, I like top fruiting these.
Yeah.
They come out super solid. When
They look like flowers almost. They look so pretty, like petals. Yeah.
Centralized floral from. They're gorgeous. We've got a florist who does weddings, and she actually uses our mushrooms.
I was gonna say I've seen that before. I've seen your mushrooms being used in a wedding as part of the boutonniere.
Yeah, I love
That's so cool. I
That's
love
really
that.
cool.
That's awesome. That's the first time I've ever seen that. So so
That's
cool to know
awesome.
that it's someone local.
I think there's a couple Piapinos coming out for their second go around.
Yeah.
Little Grossabees.
I saw some more over here, I think. Yeah, here we go.
We're getting up there.
Whoa.
Beautiful. Really nice selection. How many varieties do you have fruiting in this room?
Right,
8 total varieties fruiting in one room.
right now, yeah. We rotate through 12 to 14 different species throughout the
Mhm.
year.
Depending on season.
Yeah, and just what I feel like we're one at the time. And
Awesome.
Market demand and stuff. These are new. We just threw these in. It's a new strain of mango.
Okay.
That I just got in. So they're in their trial run, their little test run.
Yeah. I love that you're incorporating new species, trying to grow different varieties and see what works in the market.
Yeah.
And these are king oysters, right?
Yeah, some Rhodes cereus, yeah. So those, yeah,
Some nice chongers, king trumpets, sorry. Those.
Or king oysters, yeah.
Now you have to tell me, Jacob, which wine goes good with which mushroom.
Substitute for pork or chicken.
Yeah, definitely. They're one of my favorites, especially that we grow in here right now.
That looks amazing. I can't believe the yellow one.
We cut
Wow.
usually cut the substrate off, or sometimes we leave it on, and then we bring it over to our cooler. And this is our great big giant cooler. Not really. It's fairly small. We pack this thing out very, very quickly. I can put about 160 pounds in here. So we grow.
Jacob,
we
what's
can
the
do up to
temperature in
400
there?
pounds a week in that room. But
That's just a typical fridge temperature. I believe it's around 35, 36.
Very true. And would you say, like, your typical Saturday at the Tulsa Farmers Market, how much of the mushrooms are you selling?
Depends on the season, but during the busy season, 70 to 80 pounds.
Nice.
In the morning?
And then
That's
on the weekends,
yeah,
yeah.
that's really, really cool.
Mhm.
I love that. And
Yeah.
what are these down here?
Those are grow kits. Those are grow kits.
Nice. So you sell ready to grow kits that you could ship to a customer.
Yep, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yep. Nice
Very
and
cool.
easy. All the hard work's done. Pop a hole in it, spritz it a couple times, and you got mushrooms in a week.
Well, that's it for this awesome mushroom farm tour. Thank you so much, Joel, for allowing me to come out.
Wow.
That's awesome. That was an
Yeah.
awesome tour. That was so
yeah,
cool.
thank you. I just try and I try and highlight what they're doing, show off their products, and really give people a better idea into what mushroom farming looks like. So I appreciate you showing that video. Thank you so much.
So cool.
And so go check out the other videos there too, guys.
Yeah,
You guys got to go find out. I'm not going back. You guys got to go find out yourself.
Yeah, please hit subscribe. I got new videos every Friday, and this upcoming Friday, I have a really, really special one. It's because I'm announcing a secret thing that I'm doing later this year in October, and I'll leave it at that. But make sure you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube if you want to know more. I'll be releasing details on Friday.
Bears Crochet Critters has another question. Any idea of when a hardwood grow bag kits might be available?
So right now we're shooting for the end of February. Hardwood growing like mushrooms like lion's mane, they already grow slow. So we're still trying to dial in this recipe that makes it more accessible because they do grow a little bit slower. We want people to still have success without giving up. And so we're trying to see if we can optimize the nutrition recipe, the ingredients and amendments to help these mushrooms fruit faster, to grow faster, and then eventually be able to harvest quicker. So hopefully right now at the end of February, but there'll be more updates to come via the Oklahoma Fungi newsletter on our website.
Nice.
Now, Garden State so-and-so goes, this is all very interesting. I was actually reading about mushrooms to help autoimmune arthritis and inflammation.
Yes.
So
Yes.
can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so inflammation is something that a lot of these mushrooms help with. So even though I have a turkey tail mush love gummy that's to help reduce inflammation, lion's mane, cordyceps, reishi, chaga, all of these functional mushrooms have these great anti-inflammatory properties. And so when it comes to arthritis, one thing that I've also been reading a lot about is the benefits of using mushroom topicals, so like a mushroom lotion.
Oh,
And so on places that it hurts, or on places that you're having joint pain, you can take an Amanita muscaria extract in a salve. So like the mushroom that I have as my logo, you can take this little mushroom and you can extract it and put it into a lotion. And by applying that lotion to your skin, you receive the benefits of it without having to consume it.
Interesting. I wonder, are there mushrooms out there that are considered not consumable that you could do that and rub on your skin? Would it be more beneficial?
Yeah, so in particular, like the Amanita muscaria, it's the most common mushroom in the world, really. It's the one that's on our Apple key phone board emojis. This is a mushroom that it has beneficial properties to some people when they consume it. There are people who microdose on Amanita muscaria. There are some people who microdose on Psilocybe cubensis. And so one of those is legal, which is the Amanita, whereas the other one is still not legal in all over the United States. And so, excuse me, there's a lot of companies around the United States that are selling Amanita mushroom products to help people with sleep, to help people with pain, but it's not this taking those mushrooms as like a topical and applying it to your skin is going to be a different effect than consuming the mushrooms in a tincture.
Interesting.
Right. So there are mushrooms out there that have these different effects, but there are no, like when someone asks about eating mushrooms raw, there are some mushrooms that have been cultivated indoors that have been said that you can eat them raw. But personally, I know how my body reacts with chitin, and that is these mushrooms need to be cooked so I can digest them better. And so for everyone listening, even though maybe online it says one thing, go with what the majority says, not just one person who calls themselves an expert. I'm no mushroom expert myself. I'm a mushroom enthusiast. And so when people ask me the really hard nitty-gritty details, I try and give them what I can, but most times I just let them know this is the best that I can tell you, but here's some other resources for you to check out.
Nice.
Now, who do you talk to, like on a phone, from the mushroom community? Is there a thing that you have a good friend? Hey, I found this. Like, who's the first person you would call? Are you looking for information? Like,
This is the mushroom wireless.
For who I call?
yeah.
Yeah, so I call a local professor here at my state university. So it's called Oklahoma Central University. And there's a professor there who's been studying mushrooms for over 30 years. A majority of his research is done in Central America and Costa Rica and Panama, but he knows quite a bit about the mushrooms here in Oklahoma. And so whenever I find something I don't know, the first thing I do is upload it to iNaturalist. The second thing I do is fill out a sample data collection form so then I can take that mushroom and take it to the university and submit it for identification and sequencing.
Oh, wow.
If I don't fill out that form, they won't accept the sequence because they want to know where these mushrooms are coming from, what part of Oklahoma, what season. When we talk about scientific data, we want reliable scientific data. So if we were to just include every mushroom that everyone brings in from wherever and not write anything down, it would be really hard to know what mushrooms are occurring where, if the mushroom populations are decreasing, if they're increasing. Because there's one thing there's not just Oklahoma, but in the entire United States, the death caps, the deadliest mushrooms in North America, have recently been discovered to be able to reproduce through different types of systems than previously thought. So right now, majority of mushroom spores, they have to germinate and then create hyphae to create mycelium to create that fruiting body. But it's actually been found that these mushrooms can reproduce in really unique, novel ways where they basically are just creating a clone copy of themselves that grows right next to them. So much like how plants can do this, where they have an offshoot that kind of shoots out to the side and regrows, this is the same thing that mushrooms are doing and that we're just now finding out about.
Now, what state would be the mushroom capital of the United States? Like, is California, Oregon, like what place grows the most mushrooms?
Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is the number one state for mushroom cultivation in the United States.
I had no idea about that one. How about that?
Well, we need to do that. I'm only an hour away from PA, so let's just do it.
Where's the
Wow.
mushroom conference?
Yeah, what state do you live in?
Me? I'm in
Yeah.
Ohio.
Very cool. There's an Ohio Mushroom Festival every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you've been out there. I was supposed to go out
haven't.
last year, but I might be trying to come out. It's going to be in September this year, so I'm going to try and come out there and say hello.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
It's really
I might
cool.
have to make that trip too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
So Barb Brownlee says, what are the benefits if you dehydrate the mushroom?
So depending on which mushrooms you're consuming, if it's the research varieties, those mushrooms, the benefits of drying them are that you can accurately get a dose. When you eat mushrooms fresh, they're 80 to 90% water. So you're really taking a little bit of mushroom and a lot of water when you eat them. So the benefits of dehydrating them really come down to dosage when it comes to the research strains. But when it comes down to gourmet mushrooms or mushrooms that we forage, that we dry out, sometimes the benefit is that it accentuates the flavor. In particular, black trumpet mushrooms, also called the horns of plenty. This is a mushroom that when you harvest it, it has a very light smell, but as you dry it out, it has a very strong smell of cheese. So it's a mushroom that smells like cheese, and it's so fascinating to me because when I was out foraging, I didn't have anywhere to dehydrate these mushrooms. So I started putting them on the front windshield and on the back windshield of my car and leaving my windows cracked in the summer. So this over the 2-3 days that I was
Your
driving,
car smelled like cheese.
my entire car smelled like mushroom cheese. And it's because of these tiny little mushrooms that are all over my dashboard.
Gross, but funny.
It was so funny. My wife was like, "What is going on?" Yeah.
You need to take a shower.
That is the mushroom funk.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody that just came on. And this is Jacob DeVecchio from Oklahoma Fungi.
Hey.
There's 42 people in the chat. Thank you guys, everyone that came today.
Yeah.
And
seriously,
rewatch it.
Really appreciate that. Any opportunity to help spread the mush love, I'm there.
It's awesome.
Let me see. Trying to think about the questions that I had down that I actually thought of. They didn't happen on me now.
Yeah. All good.
What do you have anything you're thinking of? Something brand new to do that you heard of somebody doing, that kind of thing? Like,
Yeah.
I heard
Actually,
somebody do this. I'm going to try that soon. I never did before.
so actually, Matt Powers has recently inspired me to create my own mushroom cultivator masterclasses. So I'm going to come up with these really small, short videos that people can watch to learn skills to develop their skill set as a mycologist, as a mushroom forager, in a way that's really digestible. Instead of a 20-minute long mushroom video, me going out and showing you 20 different mushrooms and their names and their edibility, I'm going to take it one by one and really show people how to grow mushrooms using my products. I'm also going to show them how to identify mushrooms out in the wild. And eventually, when my mushroom guide comes out, I'll be showing them how to use the guide to identify the mushrooms that they're finding.
Oh, great.
See, I think that's the biggest thing. People are still afraid to go eat something in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the biggest thing. And that, from there, it creates all this hysteria about everything. Like,
Right.
forget about that. They don't want to touch it.
Yes, the HBO The Last of Us has not helped with the mushroom phobia. Have you guys heard of The Last of Us?
No.
So it's an
Yeah.
HBO TV series about a cordyceps fungus that infects humans. And so this fungus infects humans and then spreads throughout the end of the apocalyptic world. And it's a fictional TV series about mushrooms, and it has caused a lot of fear of mushrooms, what we call mycophobia. And that is because people see it and they think that every mushroom that's called cordyceps is going to kill them. And so even personally, when I do my mushroom classes or I'm selling at pop-ups, I have people come up and they ask me, "Hey, is this mush love gummy with cordyceps going to infect my brain and kill me?" And I'm like, I would never sell a product that would do that, but here's a chance to inform you about what cordyceps actually is.
How about mushrooms near the rainforest?
mushrooms near the rainforest. I mean, you said the best place to grow, when you asked me about best place to grow mushrooms, that's definitely Pennsylvania. They're growing a ton of mushrooms. But if you ask me, the best place to forage mushrooms has got to be the Pacific Northwest. That area has so many old growth forests, such abundant rainfall that it is the perfect habitat for mushrooms to flourish all year long.
It's just wet there constantly. Just yeah.
And
I'm
there's
surprised
so many
Ohio
trees.
isn't very up on that list of mushrooms, because where I'm at in Northeast Ohio, it rains here just as much as it does in Washington. It's crazy.
Now, what do you think about like the mushroom grow kits that you find in the stores?
Yeah, so a lot of grow kits, like what they sell in stores, if they're all-in-ones, like what we call that all-in-one grow kit, where it has a little bit of grain and a little bit of manure, you want those both. You want both of those in there, and so that's one thing in particular you want to look out for when you're shopping. When you go buy a product in store or online, make sure that if it's an all-in-one grow kit, that it has grain and it has substrate. These are two key components to making sure your mushroom can flourish. So our product has 1 pound of grain and 2 pounds of manure. So as your organism colonizes the grain and gets access to that nutrition, it can spread out further through the substrate and obtain more moisture and smaller micronutrients.
Hmm. See, with Rick lives in Australia. He goes, in Australia, we had a big case
Oh,
of deaths at a dinner party.
I know about this. And I
Oh.
personally think there was ill intent. There was a story about, I believe, a family that was served mushrooms. Some of the family was served mushrooms and some of the family wasn't. And the family members that consumed, unfortunately, were hospitalized. I believe one or two of them passed away, and there was a
Wow.
big conspiracy as to I believe it was a grandmother that actually may have done this. And so correct me if I'm wrong down in the chat, but it's really interesting. There are mushrooms that are poisonous that people are using in their culinary meals that they should not be. And I'm not sure if it was lack of education and foraging, or if this was something that she did with some ill intent.
Yeah.
Personally, I think that when the story came out after that she had thrown away the dehydrator that she had used to dehydrate the mushrooms, to me that seems like she was trying to hide evidence, and so there's a
Yeah,
lot
who
of
does
little
that?
there's some small interesting details to the story that I didn't really follow up on. I just kind of made my assumptions and was like, yeah, I'm never going to her dinner party.
Yeah, really. That's scary.
Yeah, so you always want to be aware of the mushrooms that you're eating, whether they're with friends, family, or friends of friends. You want to make sure that if they're wild foraged, that they bought them from a store that's reputable. You never want to take a chance on mushrooms.
Yeah.
These are fatal organisms in some cases. So one mushroom is enough to kill an entire family if prepared in a way that everyone consumes. So, that family in particular in Australia, not everyone was served the mushroom. So some mushroom dishes were reserved for other people and others not. So very interesting story to check out and read more about.
Rick said 31 survived. She had ex-husband, parents, brother-in-law. So I read that totally wrong.
So yeah, I mean, there's something to do with ex-husband's parents, brother-in-law. There's something to do with like the ex-family, the former family being invited over. And
Wow.
yeah, lots of really interesting, tricky details. And it always makes me wonder, I hope that people realize how important mushroom dinner is. Like yeah, Rick said her children and her survived. They were not served the dish, so I find that really fascinating. Then makes me really curious what her intentions were, and why she would try and throw away the dehydrator if she did know what mushrooms it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that does sound really fishy if you throw away the dehydrator. Like, why would you
Yeah.
do that?
Yeah. So to each their own on if they want to believe into these conspiracies or if not.
Right.
But definitely check out the news article and read more details about it because it is really fascinating.
So that's where everybody gets afraid, you know. It's like you want to take the next step with mushrooms, but
That's why you
it's
buy the
always
kits.
holding you back.
Buy the kits, you know what's in the kit, and you grow the kit, and there it is.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
exactly.
I'll leave foraging up to experts that know what they're looking for. Or possibly take a class and know what you're looking for. You don't just go out eating mushrooms from the backyard.
Yes, and on that note, for anyone who's listening, feel free to email me oklahomafungi@gmail.com. If you ever need help with identification, I highly recommend the first thing you do is upload to iNaturalist to get help from the community, but also send me an email and I will be more than happy to help you try and identify the mushroom that you came across.
Boom. So
Yeah.
boom. We like using that as a phrase around here.
I like it.
Let me see. We had a question somewhere. I'm just trying to find it. Mindfully Crochet says I lived in the Pacific Northwest, and there are definitely a lot of mushroom growers around. Now, how about weight loss in mushrooms?
So some mushrooms, have been shown to help promote weight loss just by consuming them, like cordyceps mushroom. It doesn't
Really?
directly help with weight loss, but it provides you more energy, which helps you to lose weight. And so there's some mushrooms that help with that. There's also some mushrooms that help reduce your appetite. So there's some mushrooms that have a lot of more fiber, a lot more content that makes you feel full. And so some mushrooms, depending on if you're taking them in a capsule or if you're eating them fresh, they'll really will have an impact on your diet, whether you're trying to gain weight or lose weight. But for the most part, when people think about consuming mushroom supplements, we think that it's oftentimes to help them lose weight, to help them get a little bit more energy and focus.
Now, what do you do to recharge yourself? Like
Get
talking about
outside.
like if you get tired, you're exhausted. What do you do to recharge yourself to get going the next day and reach your goals?
Yeah, one of the things that I do is I really like to spend as much time as I can outdoors. So, whether it's walking my dog or it's intentionally going on a foraging trip by myself, I really try and spend as much time as I can away from the stimulation, away from my phone, away from my video camera for recording. Because I'll be honest, I spend a lot of time on my phone. I'm on Instagram every day, on Facebook every day, on YouTube every day, posting videos, editing videos, doing all these different things, and it can get overwhelming. But being outside, away from all that stimulation and just relaxing in nature helps to reset my body. Now, there are things like going as well, but for the most part, I would say that going, being outside helps for the most part. But really, like playing sports or going on a backpacking trip or going on a run, something that's really starting to promote and take my cognitive, like, to make me think, that will really help me reset for sure.
Nice.
In future plans, what do you want to do? Like, what's your top goal? Like, what do you want to reach? What's your goals from here
Well,
now?
right now, my biggest goal is to produce Oklahoma's first mushroom guide. So it's going to be a shortened guide that's waterproof, has 60 species, our most important, most relevant, and prominent species that you'll come across. But a bigger goal is to offer an extended version that has all the known species. So for those who are really interested in knowing every single mushroom species or really trying to identify what they're coming across, this guide will be more geared towards finding any mushroom that's in Oklahoma, not just the 60 most prominent. And so that's a really big goal because, like I mentioned, there's 382 species known. And I mean, with the amount of time I put into this, who knows how many more I'm going to find this year,
Yeah.
or that other academics or that other mushroom foragers will find. So I'm really hopeful that when this guide comes out, it'll inspire people to want to know more, and I can come out with the extended edition later on.
Now, how many conferences have you gone to? I know it was in your bio, but like a year, like last year, how many places did you went to a
Yeah.
conference, did this?
So probably it was well over 50. And
Wow.
so I think at the end of the year, my last one was 68. And so the last class I did was like the weekend before Christmas. and that was my 68th class. And I know, so not only do I lead classes here in Oklahoma, but I also travel out of state and I go and teach classes. The one that I just did for Matt Powers was pre-recorded, but in 2 weeks, I'm actually driving from Oklahoma to San Diego. I'm visiting every mushroom farmer along the way, taking video tours.
That's
And
really
then
cool.
then I'm doing a speech in San Diego about the benefits of mushroom foraging and how it's important to get outside and connect with nature to help you connect with yourself.
Yeah.
Now, all these conferences, do you list them anywhere?
Yeah, so I'll be adding these. They're always in my newsletter, but I'll also be adding them onto my Facebook page and events, my website on the events. And so this is something that I'm trying to update as much as I can with all the different events that I sign up for. So, I'll also post YouTube video like for when I go to the event in California, I'll make a video saying, "Hey, I'm making a road trip all the way to California. If you're following and you want to meet up, send me an email." And then I'll set up a time to meet up with everyone at a restaurant. We can talk about mushrooms for an hour and hang out. And then I'll continue back on the journey to the next mushroom farm.
Nice.
Okay.
That sounds like fun.
Is there any other questions in the chat? If there's any kind of questions, we're going to end in a little bit. Let's see. Oklahoma fungi. Have you ever found an indigo milk mushroom?
Yes, and this is one of my favorite mushrooms to find, but my least favorite to eat. So it's a mushroom that's as blue as your background. It's so beautifully blue and almost purple, but as it gets oxidized, it starts to turn a greenish color. And so when you cook this mushroom, it actually turns your food a little bit green. So if you were to make a pasta, you could make a green pasta with this mushroom. My only caution is that this mushroom sometimes tastes a little gritty. The texture is not my favorite. And so, like I said earlier, it's one of my favorite to find, but my least favorite to eat.
And what area of Oklahoma are you in?
Oklahoma City. So you can see that's downtown Oklahoma City right behind me.
Yeah, it's a little dark. You can't really. You see a couple lights up top. A little close.
Sorry about that.
There you go. That is awesome. Mushroom compost. Now, do you use that in your garden? Do you have a garden? Oh no, you live in the city. You live in the city. That's right.
I live in an apartment, so unfortunately, I don't have a garden. I don't have a balcony, but what I do have is access to local gardens. So there's a lot of community gardens here in Oklahoma that I have access to. That I'll take my spent mushroom substrate, and then they'll incorporate that into their gardens, and then I can go there. And when it's time for harvest or it's time for season, I can help them harvest and then help them process all the vegetables.
Nice.
Well, if you had the microbes from the mushrooms, what happens a lot of times if you have plants, say tomato plants you get the seeds from California or something like, not California, say Arizona, and you go to New Jersey to grow it. A lot of times those plants get unhealthy. They say people, oh, you can't grow them in our area. But if you add those microbes into the roots, your tomato plant will grow a lot healthier in your area, which
Absolutely.
a lot of people don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of my big reasons for wanting to spread these genetics, these Oklahoma wild genetics throughout the United States, is I want to test and see how adaptable and resilient are these genetics. Can they grow in more states than Oklahoma? I know they can grow in Texas. I know they can grow in California. I know they can grow in Colorado. So as more customers get these products and they start to grow, we'll start to see how good they grow in other states.
That's funny. Vendrell Ann said, I just got back from Oklahoma 30 minutes ago.
Hey, what do you know? That's pretty cool.
Well, Jacob, thank you so much for coming on today.
Yes.
We'd love to have you on again. I know you've been in your car the whole time, and it's not the easiest thing to do.
No, I'm glad that I was able to. When you called me, I pulled over and I made it happen because I was super excited to be here. I hope that everyone could see me okay. I hope that everyone could hear me all right.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. You're good. You're fine.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Well, if anyone wants to learn more about me or what I do, please follow at Oklahoma Fungi on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Reddit, Patreon. basically every social media platform there is.
Nice.
And if you want to learn more about the events that I host, you can check out the newsletter on my website. The only other thing that I want to mention is that at the end of this year, there's going to be a really big giveaway. So stay tuned for Oklahoma Fungi. I'm always doing giveaways, not only at the end of the year, but when I have really big accomplishments happen, like here in Oklahoma, if I get nominated for something, I always try and give back to the community by offering up giveaways.
Nice.
Thank
Love
you so
it.
much. And Jane's been putting me down these links the whole time. So
Yeah, thank
if
you, Jane.
watch, you'll love what Jane Doe just did. It's amazing. Every time I'm looking over, I'm looking for a question. The only thing I see is a link. Another link. Well, thank you so much. And we'll hope to have you again on soon. And
this was very informative. Thank you so much.
Yes,
I love
absolutely.
that you went to that place. That was so cool.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you liked it. I have many more mushroom grow tours. I'm touring them all the time. So there's grows that are as small as a hobbyist all the way up to really large scale commercial farms that have mushroom blocks higher than the ceiling. It's incredible. So I just appreciate all y'all's support, and I can't wait to be on the show again.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you so
for
much.
letting us interview. It was great.
Yeah, it sure was.
Okay, well, have a good night.
Yeah, thank you. And
thanks y'all so much.
We'll have you on again.
Sounds good. Much love.
Talk to you soon. Wow, that was awesome.
Amazing. I love that people are doing this, and I think mushrooms are so good for you. And yeah, all this inspiration makes I have like lots of mushroom products in my cart on Amazon, so as well. So it's inspired me to take some.
For those that just came in a chat, you got to watch this again. Mm-hmm. You really got to watch this. It was so much information, so much great quality information. Wow. It's if you didn't learn something today, you are brilliant. Wow. I've been like that for the last 2 days though at Matt Power's conference. You know what? Since I talked about Matt, let me show you, because you guys could go get some great information that like I was blown away with this interview. You guys will be blown away with watching. Well, you know what? Since I'm here, 6 inches of soil. Let me show this quick, guys, because I like showing this every single time we do a live.
6 inches of soil feeds 8 billion people.
We already grow enough of all the human essential nutrients to feed everyone who's alive.
Farming is the single biggest cause of biodiversity collapse, the second biggest cause of climate change.
Soil is the most valuable resource on the planet, and we're degrading it without even realizing.
We have come to believe that money is more important than soil. That idea has to change.
Regenerative agriculture is farming that we're producing food, but also farming in harmony with nature.
You're working with nature, not against it.
The more people see it, the more that they realise that it works.
Having a regenerative agroecological system, that is surely the solution.
Soils are absolutely phenomenal in the amount of carbon they can store.
What we absolutely need now is urgent action from the government.
Until you deal with 9 retailers who have 94.5% of food sales in Britain, you're not going to have a level playing field.
Consumers have a choice. They can decide to buy cheap meat from industrial farms, or they can find farmers that really value animal welfare and the environment that we're farming in.
Dad started regen farming for the future generations to come, and that was the most selfless act he could have done.
The people who are doing this are making big sacrifices.
I think the potential is absolutely huge here.
These farms really can change the world.
It's all about the soil, isn't it, really?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So 6 inches of soil. I love showing that because it means something. It means we're trying to change our future and trying to. If you guys could show that video out, uh, that'd be great because somebody has to do it. Nobody in the government's doing it. Nobody else is doing it. We got to change the way we do a lot of things here because everything's always been about money and not about you. And it's time we got to worry about ourselves and our kids. Okay, so Matt Powers. Let me show that. It's about a minute. If I come up with the right video, here it is. So this is Matt Powers. Matt was on my Garden State Gardener channel. He actually had a little shout out today, which was pretty awesome. And a shout out about the channel. Because I won a goodie bag. He goes, I know that guy. He interviewed me. And he talked about it. Hey, I'm a great guy and that kind of things. And it was awesome. Anyway, this is 5 days, 45 speakers. It's free, but he has other material that you'll be blown away. Just like I have in the mushroom talk with Jacob DeVecchio. Okay, let's see what Matt. If this echoes, guys, just tell me in the chat because usually I have to put it on silent on my side. I can't hear it. Otherwise, it echoes. But if I could hear it and it's not echoing, I'm gonna keep on going with it.
5 days of giveaways, live training from all over the world, joining together to share a pathway. There's ranchers, there's people making products, there's people doing things online, people in person. It's giveaways all 5 days and over 50 different opportunities to get something amazing. So there's thousands of dollars in giveaways. So there's going to be large courses, there's going to be physical books, there's going to be everything under the sun. It's free for the week. And the replays, I even give you time to go through the replays of the live sessions. So make sure you have a fresh journal, you've cleared your calendar, and that you're ready to dive deep into our future. Join us this January. Sign up today. Click the link below. I'm so excited. I'm Matt Powers. Grow abundantly, learn daily, and live regeneratively. I'll see you in there.
So look at those. Oh, I deleted it already. But Matt is amazing. He actually has Crohn's disease. His wife had cancer. Another kid had something like that. And he goes, you know what? I got to change my life around. And then he started, hey, I got to start with the soil. And he's the person that's going on and on and on just to help himself and his family, but to help everybody in the world, which was pretty amazing. He was on my Garden State Gardener channel, and he's going to be on our channel in a couple months. But he has a lot of stuff going on. I have no idea how he finds the time to do it. Mm-hmm. But he's definitely going to be on our channel again. So I'm so looking forward to that. Anyway, he got a lot of freebies. Now, I'm in his, like, you can get this stuff and print it out, like where to find mushroom spores and cultures. I got his book. Again, he writes books for high schools, and he has like 30 books, maybe more. Anyway, that's the regenerative soil microscopy. I mean, just look under a microscope. That's what you find. Really cool. Like, how do you find that? What is it? So he has a whole bunch of college professors in his class. It's like, whoa, this guy's really important.
Yeah.
It is a pretty cool one because I'm going to share some stuff. Compost and compost tea. Not many people talk about that. And by the way, we're going to have somebody talk about compost next week. It's probably going to be on my birthday. Very special. I think I sent it to Corky, his bio.
Yeah.
But his bio, guys, he's like the king of compost in a way, sort of a way. He's like high up there. And you're going to love that. We have interviews all the way till February, all set up right now.
I'm excited.
So it's an exciting time here.
Yeah.
It really is. Another book that we got a freebie as a print off was Unstoppable Enthusiasm by Matt Powers. So I just printed the whole thing off. Hey, why pay $40 when it's free, or 60 or 80 or 100 dollars today? And there's another one, the permaculture student.
Nice.
So if I was you guys, I would go check it out. Sign up. There's like another day or two left. You can sign up right now. Maybe you get into the classes and see if they're live today, because they're not going to be there all the time. So I'm blown away with this material, because nobody's. I'm going to repeat it and probably repeat it for a long time. Our life within food and everything, with the ground, the soil, everybody only went so far and stopped. Now you have somebody going to keep on going and keep on going and keep on going. Why? And I think it's pretty awesome. Okay, let me see. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on, guys. You're going to love this.
I can't wait.
And it's that's what this channel is about. It's grown big, but it's also hearing things you're not going to find anywhere. And we're hoping to find people that will get us there. So it's pretty cool stuff. Let me put my goggles on, glasses, or whatever. I just subscribed to his channel. Awesome. Love the interviews. Thanks and Jane Doe. Oh my God. Thank you. My little cousin suffers from Crohn's, one of the worst diseases you could have with your intestines and everything. That's painful, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Sally, 108 Love. Joe, you're doing it, Joe. 6 inches of soil. Get the word out. Never heard of it before except for you. I'm a researcher, guys. I'm the guy that was in a library that would be there for 12 hours on a Saturday after practice until it closed. Then I'd go out on a date. And I would try to go out and get a date from somebody from the library. But I would study until I found something good. That was I-worthy, I guess you could say.
I'll be right back, Joe. My dog is needing me.
Okay.
I don't know what's wrong with him, but he's driving me nuts. All right.
Okay, see you in a little bit. Black Gold, that's for sure. Greenstalker, my answer. He has great info on soil. Let me see. Great show from Ginger Ninja. It's called The Black Hold for a reason. Fantastic. Bob Brown, this is fantastic detailed information about Jacob, about mushrooms. God, he's only 26. It shows you how, if you have passion, man, that kid has passion. And he's married already at 26. I go, Avenger on the Land goes, I go mushroom hunting all the time. That's awesome. Keep on searching. Find something new. Be well, Oklahoma Fungi. Cool. Interesting interview. That was great. Very cool. That was from Riverdale Gardens. Riverdale Gardens, can you send me another email, by the way? One second. I've been getting, just wait, by the way, your seeds, if you haven't got them. I got a couple more addresses I got to find. And I got a package over there. I forgot who I sent it to. But most of these they're all stamps. I just got to put addresses on this many. I got all those done. So we're going to give some seeds away in a little bit. And I could just put them in these envelopes, which is good. But still, email me your address. So I think there's over 60 in here. 60 winners. So that's pretty awesome. Let me see what I could give away today. Let me see what other go on down. Let me see 1 second. I'm all over the place. Just let you guys know that interview came on this afternoon. That's how late, because our interview today on how to make money on a farm is going to be next week instead. Connie says I'll watch later. I'm getting frustrated by my connection. Oh, that stinks, Connie. Mushroom seeds. I wish there was mushroom seeds. Wouldn't that be fun? I'll send another Riverdale Gardens. I'm going to venture. Yeah, I'm glad you guys are going to go venture into mushrooms. Learn so much. What a great interview. Stop by Greg Bryson. Welcome in, Greg. Stop by to show my support. I'll watch the replay later. Awesome, guys. Thank you guys so much. So let me see what I can give away today. Give it away. Give it away now. Oh, there's not too many of these. Just hold on, guys. I wasn't going to give anything away today, but how do I not give stuff away? I'm addicted. I'm way too addicted and not giving away seeds. 1 second. Okay, that's going to be one of the prizes you could choose from, which is really cool. Oh, this is cool. That'll be another. And it's a dwarf, guys. It's a dwarf. Let's see. Stay with me, stay with me, stay with me.
Sorry about that. My dog had to go outside, so.
So we're going to give some seeds away too sometime.
Yay.
Live. So I'm trying to figure that all out because I didn't have any ready. Okay.
Oh man, it's cold out there.
Sounds good. So what I'm going to give away is you have 3 choices. And Jane Doe, if you could copy these in the chat and just keep on posting them. Hey, Rick, you're a fun guy too. I forgot to ask that question. How many times do you get called, hey, are you a fun guy? We got a dwarf.
Ooh.
So we're going to have that. That's one. We got a Astranium.
Ooh, I have that. I love that. One of my
And
favorites.
so notice the difference in spelling. I'm going to really confuse people now. One's a dwarf, the other one's not. If you want the dwarf one, put dwarf in it. That's all you got to do. So that's your 3 choices. Well, let's talk a little bit about, before I do that, before I give these out. Corky, that was, I'm still, that was wow.
It was a
I
great
did not, when he came across, I seen the energy, the enthusiasm, and you see him, he was confident in the way he talked.
Yeah.
You know, very confident. Today, he showed your knowledge. Like, it was like, wow, this guy is absolutely amazing. He's really going to change a lot of things. He's only 26. He's married.
Yeah.
His wife has a good job too. You know, I mean, when you're dealing with, when you're a kid, he's 26. He's a kid.
You know what's sad is that I can now say that too. Oh, God.
He could be my kid. That could be my kid. That could be my kid.
That's funny.
And you guys could be grandmothers, maybe. Grandfathers. Wow. You know what? I wanted to keep on asking questions. And I'm like, nah, he's been here long enough. He's in his car.
Yeah.
You know? And I didn't know what else he wanted to. But the guests, you guys don't want to miss our next guest. And please, if you guys can make it on time, you know, when these guests come on, they're on usually early, a little earlier. They don't want to be here for 3 hours. You know, we already put them in, they're usually in chats for 40 minutes or 30 minutes. And we have them in here usually for an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Yeah.
And they're here earlier before that. So if you guys get here earlier on time, we appreciate that. Okay, let me go to giveaway tool. The compost is going to be great live, guys. Wow. Whoop. I totally went out. If you guys just subscribe to Wild Family Farm, I appreciate that.
Oh, thanks, Joe.
Quirky and Guard, both of our channels are going to still go back soon to trying to be normal because most of our focus has been on this channel. So let me just get out of here. Yeah, most of our focus has been on this channel, and our other channels have really lacked. And we have subscribers there. Quirky has the Poop Troop. Poop Troop. And time to make a video of that too. I'm gonna make another video with who I pick up. And
will you marry me? And then he's like, join the Poop Troop.
Guys,
that was like the best video ever.
It was when I'm in Uber, I want to have everybody have a good time. And when I see somebody that had a couple of drinks and we're having a great conversation, it's like, yes, I'm going to ask them, hey, would you guys want to make a commercial for Wild Family Farm? Or Elude or something. And it's hysterical.
Oh, thanks, Ginger Ninja.
I still can't believe somebody got engaged my Uber.
I know, that's cool. I can't believe somebody used the Poop Troop in their engagement.
Well, how about the person that got married? The couple that got married, and they did a thing after they got married. They're ready to go to their party to celebrate, and on their way to the party, they're making a Wild Family Farm commercial. Who does that?
I love it. That's hilarious. That's so great.
I gotta find that video too. Cool. Then you have people from the UK.
Yeah. Apparently, I'm known all around Ireland. That's great.
I mean, come on. You guys got to check out. Hey, say you love the Poop Troop.
Like really? I just love it. It's so great.
Hashtag Fungi.
Ooh.
Oh man, that's gonna make me cry. Hashtag Fungi. And really, guys, go check out the front of that video. Share it out. I mean, when we're talking about it, it's not our kids and stuff. Well, it starts with us with sharing things out. It's just important. Mm-hmm. It's important that everybody can learn, because I hope you guys learned a lot of stuff there. And your own health. I mean, the prices there are not that expensive. It was what, $15, right?
Yeah. Oh, it wasn't very much. Yeah.
So if anything like that could help your health, if you have an autoimmune or and all other health situations, go for it. There's 47 people in the chat. Thank you guys for coming. Hashtag Fungi. Oh, no Billy today. I just noticed that.
I know. It's kind of weird not having him in there.
I just noticed a lot of people have been lurking now.
Yep.
There's Peace, Love, and Crochet with Deidre. Mike's Chaotic Gardening is here. Terry's here. I've seen Terry before. Denise Lee is here. Shani asked questions. That was awesome. Built on a Rock Homestead came in late. Dawn and Hala having fun. There's Helena M. Jersey Twister. David Gray.
Love you, Shawnee Shaw.
Barb's Country Home. Dee's Garden Adventures. Tammy's here. Tammy Hooked and Rod in Hand.
The Rebel's here. The Rebel.
The Rebel. Oh, Tammy, you got to watch the beginning too. Okay, first winner. Here we go. Just email me what you want, guys. If something's out, I'll let you know. But I think we're good. We're good for today. Ginger Ninja.
I'm so excited for you. Congratulations.
And I'm so glad Kathleen's been with us every live. Kathleen Moran. Hopefully we could help your life somewhere, somehow, some way. Get you growing healthy veggies. I like how people came in here and didn't expect anything, and all of a sudden they're glued. I love that. Christy Bomb's here.
There's almost 50 people up in here. 50 people.
Okay, second winner. The winner is Built on a Rock Homestead.
Congratulations.
All right. Congratulations, Built on a Rock Homestead. 48 people. We might break 50 here tonight. Whoop. We're really hoping to get in around 100 level. That's our.
Oh my gosh, we're almost at 50, guys. We are at 49 people. Come on, the 50th person. Come on. You can do it.
Put in hashtag. I forgot already what was the hashtag. Fungi.
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 Fungi, fungi. Okay, here we go.
Oh my gosh, there's 50 people in the house. Woo! Congratulations.
Happy Mac.
Happy Mac.
So one of these packets goes out. We just have to, I'll let you know, but his first winner gets first choice, then it moves on down. So congratulations to Happy Mac. Whoop.
Whoop.
Here we go. Whoop. Suzanne Goulet.
Susan! Woo!
Here we go. Let's draw again. Mike's Chaotic Gardening.
Yay! Woo!
If I was Mike, I would never miss one of my lives. Okay, let me.
He always wins.
Yeah, it's
Always.
amazing. You either have it or you don't. Mike has it. Greg Bryson used to have it. Greg Bryson won on my channel all the time. He hasn't won in a long time. So we're going to go back to another number, another name in a second. I want to see if I could find something. One of our guests. And I'm so happy he's going to freaking come on. This is so awesome. Want to make sure I don't delete his messages. That would stink. I would have to find him. Who is it? Okay. So this is who I have talking about compost. All right. The compost mastermind session. A lot of people, he talks about marketing compost and soil health and make compost mainstream. I mean, this is the guy. This is like awesome. Whoop. Make sure no other messages are around here, my Lincoln network. But absolutely talking about composting and going down to the microbes and what's good. So we're going to ask tons and tons of questions when he comes on, because not all compost is equal. 13 hours ago, I'm excited to share my experiences from yesterday's compost mastermind session. It was a special gathering with 12 participants around the globe, including people from India, Uzbekistan, Canada, USA, Mexico, and me. You know,
nice.
I mean, wow, guys. Let me get out of that before I show too much. But that's a good one. And I really want him to come on my birthday and make it a special birthday. If anybody who wins today, send me their email for today. That's all. So when I go down a list, it's just easier for me. That's all. A lot easier for me. Okay, let's go back. Just get more seeds. Okay. Thank you guys. This back to 47. Oh, what happened to the 50? Jeez. Who dropped out?
Yeah, a couple people.
Whoop, wrong one. Hold on, guys.
Hey, thanks for coming in.
Let's put Happy Mac. Do you see that? Did it come up?
Yep.
Hashtag Happy Mac.
Wait, is it hashtag?
Oh, no hashtag. Sorry, guys.
Okay. So it's just you write in Happy Mac and that'll put you on the board.
No hashtag. No
No
hashtag.
hashtag.
There you go. They're starting to flow in now.
Awesome. Oh my gosh, we need 50 people. Come and hang out for a while.
And Kalen says Happy Mac, no number. No hashtag, I mean. Yeah, there's just so much information in the world, guys, that if I could find something, I'm always, like I always say, I want to try to do something different because everybody copies each other. I mean, you go to a chat and there's nothing wrong with it, but you go there, hey, Jane, hi, John, hi, Corky, hi, Joe. And that's what the conversation's about. Oh, John, you did this today. Oh, Jack, you did this today. You know, after a while and you're in those same channels, you're following those people anyway. So you pretty much know the story, but it's the same shout out. You're really not getting anywhere. But I'm always, I don't know. I just want to be different. So no hashtag. I almost said hashtag again. Just Happy Mac.
No hashtag, guys. No hashtag.
Welcome in, Natasha Lynn. And if we could teach you something, even if we don't know something, we're trying to get the best in the world, not just the best that we know. We want the best people in the world to come and do these interviews, or somebody that's aspiring to be that way. Yeah, say the different because you're from Jersey. Woohoo! Yeah, with Jersey, we're a different breed. That's definitely we're a different breed. Thank you so much, Jane. Okay, here we go. First winner. Tammy M. Hook and rod in hand.
Hook and rod! Woo!
Second winner. Congratulations, Tammy. Dee's Garden Adventures.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Dee's Garden Adventures. Wanda Moses.
Woo!
Awesome sauce. Congratulations, Wanda Moses. Ginger Ninja.
Congratulations.
And the last winner for tonight. Built on a Rock Homestead.
Sorry, my dog is being a terror tonight. Terror. She's getting into things being bad.
So let you guys know a little bit about the channel. We need about 400 hours. So we are getting very close. It's supposed to snow tomorrow. If for some reason my job is canceled and I'm not Ubering, I'm going to be on for a while tomorrow. Giving out seeds, doing this, open panel kind of thing. So I appreciate if you guys could come on tomorrow. I might just be on by myself, or other people might just come on by. I don't know. Whatever I could do to get, I'm doing whatever I could do to get the hours. That's what basically it comes to. And maybe we'll have some guests on. We'll figure something out. I like doing things last second anyway. I have not spent a Friday at home probably in 6-7 years.
Wow.
So I have Ubered basically every single weekend for 7 years. Well, at least Fridays and Saturdays. So all year around. Besides maybe, a Christmas. No, I probably even Ubered on Christmas. I think I basically, my sister's wedding is the only time I did an Uber. There you go. And my honeymoon. Well, no, that was way before. My wedding day. I don't know. I have no idea what day it was even anymore. Whoops. So, yeah. So if I spend tomorrow home because it snows, I'm going to go 100% at this tomorrow's live and give you guys some good information. Or you can watch me clean like other channels do. Hey, watch me clean. You wouldn't want to see the mess in here.
I've seen so many people do lives like that. Like, hey, I'm cleaning today. Come and hang out with me. And I'm like,
I can show you guys a picture of some fish when I sleep. But you know what? That's okay. It's other channels doing their thing. And that's their thing. And you want to watch that and you want to support them. That's all good. We're not trying to shut out anybody from doing something what they want to do. I'm just saying we want to do something different. That's all. Okay, guys. Well, thank you guys for coming to our live. I appreciate it. And don't be surprised if you see either of us on sometime. And please watch the replay if you missed it. Or we want to just, hey, what did he say about this? Or where can I get this material? Or where maybe I'm going to start my own mushrooms. Just go back and rewatch the live. All right.
all right,
I love
thanks,
you guys.
And we will see you all next week.
See you guys soon. Bye.
Bye.